Okay, let's take two. I'm currently... Oh, welcome to a Mike Life Crisis. Subscribe for figure out what I'm doing next. Current status is I'm in Lower BC with 2 vehicles and 1 me and 1 dog. Not a good sign for me. Everything was going well till the drive into this town, and my other driver just threw a fit, and I have let's see, yeah, that glasses got bent, and there's no need to that, and I'm done with him right now. Everything was going well. We had a bunch of little problems. I probably overreacted to one, but they were all getting solved. So, well, they were all getting solved, but yeah, well, let's tell the story. We left Anchorage, made it to Glen Ellen the first night, no problem. That was a long day for me. We tarped the load and everything. So all my stuff is on the trailer in 2 boxes with a few things outside the boxes. So everything's underneath the tarp. And the boxes seem to be holding up. I haven't actually checked them. I assume they're holding up because they're still there and they've gone through the worst part of the experience. So we got through Alaska. We got to the Canadian border. I got rejected at the Canadian border for Goldie's rabies shot. And the ugly truck decided to have a problem at the border. It didn't start, it just was dead. We turned the key, it just died. It just didn't make sense because it gave us enough sign of life that we thought it was something else. So I'm not allowed to enter the country with Gold. Well, technically, I think I was allowed to enter the country, just not with Goldie. We can't figure out what's wrong with the truck. So, Canada's telling us to get the hell off their property. You can't leave stuff here. Yada yada yada. Okay. You realize it's 5 o'clock. 1 second. We'll figure this out. So the driver refuses to be flat towed the 1.5 miles to the next town. We had all the equipment. I flat towed him out of the border inspection, and all he had to do was ride the brakes all the way down, and probably for the best, because I think he would have driven over the rope, because every time we did get into this flat towing situation, he nearly ran over the rope. Obviously he can't see the rope, but I've only done this once, and yeah. So I had to use acceleration later on to keep him from running over the rope or getting very close to it. Excuse me. So after like 2 hours of fidgeting around at the customs and not getting it started and not understanding what's wrong with it, we talked to them, okay, what are our options? Okay, we can tow the truck in and be back in 2 days to get the trailer. Got it. I can do that. I can pay the tow truck driver to come back out here to get the trailer. That's fine. No big deal. I can deal with that. I finally get tired with the truck, slam the door, go inside. We chat for the last time with them and get those details. And I hop on the phone to talk to one of the tow truck guys because the border inspection person is just flabbergasted that the company that we called couldn't help us like she expected them to be able to. The tow truck basically said, I could take the truck, I can't take the trailer. And that's not possible. They've done this before. Okay, well, that's what they're telling me, and I'm sorry. And like I said, it's okay, if you give me 2 days, that's fine. I can totally come back tomorrow with the different vehicle. Maybe even my truck might be working. Who knows? So I send the truck on to Whitehorse. We find him a hotel near the freeway. I'm pretty confident he had enough diesel to get there, but whatever. He pulled over and stopped 3 times. Once to get more fuel. Ironically, in front of the hotel, it sounded like. And it started up every time for him, and he felt confident, and he couldn't stay there, so he needed to leave. So fine, get to Watson Lake. You'll be fine in Watson Lake if you can get there. I do not authorize traveling until you figure out what's wrong with that truck. Yeah, because Whitehorse had mechanics. Watson Lake has nice, quiet scenery. Okay, fine. So, like I said, Goldie couldn't go into Canada because of that whole rabies thing, and that's my fault. Every time we've had something to declare, this is the first time we haven't had anything to declare and do paperwork on. So, they were interested in the rabies paperwork, which is the first time they've ever been interested in the rabies paperwork. And that's my fault for being so stupid. Also, there's stuff I needed to do for CDC, but that's apparently really stupid. It's just like an inventory, tell us who your dog is, show this to the inspection person. So I need to figure out how to take a screenshot of that email or whatever and hand it over on my phone. Because I don't have a printer. Printing this out would be a hardship, sir. So yeah, we need to figure out how to do I think there's a way to make it so you can share it like a ticket stub, share a photo like a ticket stub. Anyhow, where was I? Okay, so we're in Watson Lake. So he gets to Watson Lake and is comfortable. I finally catch up, And I catch up that evening. We have this certificate. No, he spent a full day in Watson Lake, and I catch up with him that evening. And we fidget with the truck, and the truck starts that evening, no problem. In the morning, it doesn't start at all. It's kind of just dead. But that's probably for the best. But and everybody's focused on this little wire that goes between the mirror and the dashboard. And okay, fine, whatever. You can undo that ground screw. You can snip that wire, and you're no better off than you were 10 minutes ago. And I was convinced it was a ground. I just didn't know which ground was causing the problem, because it would make sense that the ground is having a problem. It's not passing enough juice to manage some relays. I was sort of right. Okay, so in Watson Lake, it's not starting. I don't want to leave town without us figuring this out. All right, there's a mechanic over there. Yeah, he'll take a look at it. Just tow it over here. So we flat tow it again. This time without the trailer. We just flat tow the pickup truck, so he feels a little more comfortable. He almost runs over the rope because he can't see, but yeah. If you can't see the rope and it doesn't feel like you're being tugged, add some brake, please. I feel like he was adding too much brake when he thought he needed to have brakes, and then he wasn't adding any brake when he needed to have some brake. That truck has decent brakes. It should be able to stop itself without the engine running. So we get this nice grizzled mechanic. Lovely place. Kind of jealous of his little life there. And he totally does the basic. Yep, no ground. You got a problem here. And he does the cleaning of the battery and whatnot. Literally going back to the full basics. And he starts taking off the secondary battery, and I kind of jump in to help. And he's cleaning the terminals like a common standard thing to do, and I kind of know that's I installed the batteries like 3 months ago. They're fine. But he's going from back to the basics, and that's fine. I get to my battery, the primary battery. I can't take the thingy apart. There's two studs and what's in the back? The other phone's charging so that I can talk to people on Facebook and do banking stuff. Excuse me. Sorry. Intrusive thoughts. So, mechanic figured he led me to where the problem is. I figured out that was totally the problem. Or I confirmed that it was totally the problem. So like, I can't take this apart, and like, yeah, I can't take it apart either. So he gets Bruno out, and Bruno can't take it apart, and so he gets the cutting wheel and cuts it off. Goes through his final electronic diagnostics check sheet, and excuse me. Thank you. Sorry about that. He goes through he's checking the batteries with this little snap-on tool. Battery good. So he cleans it all up, and like, damn, I could have fixed that. There was nothing there that I couldn't have fixed with what I already had in the ambulance. I would just use the roto tool instead of the whatever he used. He used a really nice Milwaukee disc tool. So we take care of that, and we go on the road, and we get ourselves Fort Nelson, no problem. We keep going to Prince George. We stop at a restaurant. I'm looking at the trailer, and the trailer deck, fifth wheel deck, is touching the bed of the truck. And we're just in a parking lot with, a little bit of a crown on the thing. So I feel like the trailer has gotten worse. The bend on the trailer has gotten worse, and I'm probably completely wrong on that, but I'm mostly convinced. I'm coming to the final conclusion that the truck is lifted 2 inches too high for the trailer, and that's 90% of my problem. And I think previous owners had a similar problem because, so that's. I was feeling like the angle was getting worse. So we hunted down a welder. He zipped up a few seams that might have been coming undone. I feel like they were starting to get more undone. He cleaned up the landing gear, so at least now we can put the trailer down and drive away from it again, because the landing gear broke in Watson Lake. So we took the trailer off the truck so we can run it to the mechanic. He fixed up the truck. We go to load up the trailer back on the truck, and getting help was just impossible. He was misjudging everything. So it's like, okay, let me back away. Let me just do this with mirrors and whatnot. And I just go straight back onto it and almost snip it. And something goes funny, so I drive away, and the driver's side landing gear is like barely holding. That driver's side is just like partly down, and so I get the bottle jack, lift it up, I need cribbage to get the bottle jack tall enough and everything. The worst part about those things is you kind of need a block of wood to go with them. So I lift up the trailer so that the landing gear can go back down. We take a ratchet strap, tie the landing gear down to the trailer. We literally just hooked the trailer right back up with the hitch. Forget about the jack. Let me rephrase that. Not that we forget about it, we forget that it was carrying a load. So we lift the landing gear up, and oh yeah, there's the jack, and I forgot that the truck had taken the load, and the landing gears are completely out of the picture. And yeah, the trailer comes flopping down on me because I used the bar, because I knew there was load on there. I just didn't realize how much load. But it was just kind of, whoops, shouldn't have done that. All right, well, I didn't get hurt. I was the only one in danger. I didn't get hurt. Don't worry, I did it again. I left the jack and we drove away from it, and had to pick that up after the fact again. Did that at the welder. So yeah, in Prince George, I'm looking at the trailer. It's like, this just isn't right. I mean, look, I'm looking at the trailer cable, and it's been bit by the whole situation. Okay, well, we go to the welder, he zips it up, and we hop on the road and get on the road. I don't know. Time passed. I had some good predictive work thoughts happening. Excuse me. Where are we at? We're at 20 minutes? Okay. I think this will be fine. We went to an hour earlier. So weld up the seams, get on the road. It looks awful to me, but I guess that's just how it's always been, and I just hadn't quite comprehended on how bad the trailer is. Trailer's obviously being bent by the load, and I totally understand it now, but it's not a matter of it being bent by the load, but it's that was too much. I locked those boxes in, filled them up. There's no way I'm taking all of this stuff out in the middle of a parking lot, cutting the two boxes apart, probably having to reinforce both of them in whatever new place they go to. Yeah, no, that was just one thing too many. Sorry, that was what was being recommended, just to readjust the load, and it will. Oh well, I give up. I'm just going to try to limp it home. And maybe avoid all these things. But by that point, the light cable was gone. It was enough things had been excuse me, chewed through that all the fuses had blown out. So the trailer no longer had lights, and he was driving. I never saw him. Like, here's the target city we'll make a decision at. Cache Creek. Okay, we'll catch up with you at Cache Creek. I struggled on that drive because it wasn't obvious on the path I was supposed to be taking. And I was also, I knew I was in the back, so I was constantly looking for him. Never saw him. And, I'm not getting updates, nothing. I don't see him. All right, Alright, well, I'm just going to keep going my stupid little speed here, and if he's on the side of the road, I should be able to see him. And I'm trying to be more observant about it, because it's like we haven't seen each other for quite some time, and we were seeing each other at least reasonably mutual potty breaks. But no, he was way ahead of me and whatnot. So we get to Cache Creek. We run across him at the taco stand. Great taco stand. If you get a bowl, empty half your bowl onto the plate they give you, and then load the bowl up with salsa. Because the bowl has no room to put the salsa on, and the bowl just doesn't have enough flavor. But good place, lovely place, I highly recommend it. Okay, so yeah, I've been lost in daydreaming, so I haven't thought about anything since we left. We get back on the road. He drives away, ditches me, and it's getting dark. It's dusk when we leave, and I don't have the ability to check if he's turned his lights on. Just haven't, and he's gone, and I don't even know where he's going. Well, sorry. Before we left the gas station, I had set his phone up with an address for a hotel. And I'm not sure what happened to those GPS instructions. It's almost amazing that I ran across him, because I didn't know, because he later on he showed me his phone doesn't have the GPS coordinates going on. It doesn't have directions anymore. Like, okay, I left you a thing with the directions to navigate you to a hotel. I mean, it would have been abandoned, because I would have gone directly to that hotel that I dialed into his phone, because I can't keep up with him, and I'm not going to try to keep up with him. Because I don't have the greatest brakes. I don't like to accelerate fast. And yes, I drive slow, because this is a big, ugly truck. But he keeps taking off. So we don't have any ability to communicate that the lights are not working anymore. And eventually he finds out his lights aren't working anymore. And let's roll back. At some point I said, drive with your parking lights on, and you'll have your marker lights lit up. If you did that at any point in the day, he would have learned this. He would have learned that his marker lights weren't lighting up. So he finally pulls over into a place that, I can't stop in time to see him. So I pull over eventually, and he gets behind me and yells at me and yells at me and yells at me. And I just start fixing it. And alright, well, first of all, the plug wasn't plugged in, but that didn't help. It was obviously failed. So I get my backup lights, my magnet lights, and I place them out. And apparently never mind. At this stage, we don't know anything. So I put him out, zip tie him down. He yells at me for not zip tying the zip ties tight enough, or pulling the rope or the cable tight enough, and I was just going to do that at the end. Well, I can do 3 at a time, but he's throwing a fit. He's over irate over everything. Okay, well, I get the lights installed, zip tie it down, get the excess kind of safely managed, connect it into the truck, nothing. So I pop the hood, start looking through the fuses, replace a fuse, and I get marker lights. Okay, you got marker lights. That'll get you down. We'll figure out the rest. And yeah, we'll figure out the rest. And so, fine. He takes anger walks, comes back. He had the keys. He yells at me about checking the lights, whether the turn signals work, after I already told him the turn signals don't work. And he's just getting irate. He wants to know the answer. The answer has to be presented in yes or no, and I've already told you it's not working. Somehow in that process, he dropped those keys and gets angry at me because I stole the keys, and I haven't had the keys. I was doing all that work without the keys because you took the keys. Okay, well, you have some lights right now, so at least the trailer is marked, or it has some visibility again. I'm not rewiring this trailer on the side of the highway right now. Let's get to the hotel. I'll deal with this in the morning. Deal with this in sunlight. I'll follow behind you. It'll be fine. And he's just yelling and irate and yelling about everything. Crossing some boundaries here. And whatever. We get started. He races away from me. I'm catching up, and then he slams on his brakes to a dramatically slow speed. And I almost run into him because I'm so absolutely confused on why he's so slow. Like, what happened? You're in the middle of the lane. You didn't pull off to the side. Why are we stopping in the middle of the lane? Like, seriously, I felt like he was brake checking me. Like he wanted me to run into him. Pulls over. Okay, what's going on? Yells at me. And just kept demanding things that we were already doing that he just wasn't feeling like he was getting. I wasn't tailgating him enough. He's pissed off that his lights aren't bright enough or straight enough or whatever. I haven't driven the truck at night. And he's driven it at least 3 nights in a row. Maybe we could have worked on that at some point. I'm not sure when he got aggressive and physical and whatnot, but it was I was sitting right here and he's yelling at me, and I tried to I followed him as best as I could. There's absolutely no reason why he needs to gun it through town. It's dead of night. The only reason someone got between us was he was driving too fast for me. And, well, turns and merges and whatnot, all those normal things. And I can't see his brake lights at all. Sorry. It's not like I get a pseudo signal. My fault. It's totally my fault that the truck lights can't light up. I should have just put the two boxes in tandem. Totally harder for myself to load it, but I should have done it that way. I just didn't. I didn't do it that way because I really didn't trust the metal on the other side. It's just so bouncy. And it was already hanging over, so good news, I solved my problem of the back being too low. Bad news, I made the front too low. Oops. So, excuse me. I should have made them in cereal and taken off left the door off and just built another round of framing and made it really long instead, but I didn't do that. I just put it all on the tongue. I thought that would make everything ride better, but I overweight it, so I didn't think it would be that heavy. It's not my day job, I'm sorry. I learned my lesson on the hardest drive ever. But it was easier to load. Nonetheless, okay. So it's all my fault that it bit the thingy, and I get it. The trailer is more extreme and whatnot. I get it. Now I have to finish off the problem. Okay. So we dump him off at the hotel. I take the keys. I relocated. I fixed the trailer up. Relocated to the Canadian Tire. I've now fixed the trailer in the Canadian Tire. Got a new plug in there, so the trailer is now a 4-pin. And the wire's not going between the overreach and tailgate. Okay. So it can't be pinched anymore. So the lights will stay alive. There's plenty of wire to not get pinched, and hopefully it's off the ground enough to not scrape against the ground. Sorry, I have too many things going on in my head, and sometimes I can't keep full range. I can't manage my speaking and have these intrusive thoughts hit me. But we're going to try to wrap this up. So we wrapped up the wire. Wiring's good. Since I was here and just dealing with things, I put the reflectors on, scraped off the rust, painted, put the reflectors on, put the high-vis tape on. So it's obvious that it's on the road and you can see it, and it's all stuff that I wanted to do. I just needed the time to do it, and I kept getting passed on and saying, no, it's all right, don't have to do that. Okay, well, we have the materials when we have a chance to do that. Could have done it any time during this journey. So, well, it's done now. So yeah, it has reflectors, it has high-vis tape on it. Lights are working again. I bought a 5-pack of fuses for way too much. And replaced, I think we replaced 4 fuses. I don't know why the cigarette lighter needed to be replaced, but I think that needed to be replaced. Something big that didn't seem to make sense needed to be replaced, so I just replaced it because I found it. Then I went inside the cab and found 2 new, so 2 on the outside, 2 on the inside. Replaced those. Found out the wiring was wrong in the wiring thingy, and fixed that, so everything should be good again. The new wire shouldn't get crushed, and if we do damage to the truck bed, no, so be it. Sorry. Intrusive thoughts changing my thought process. So yeah, the trailer's good. I am now looking for a place to store the trailer. The current plan is to put it into a storage lot for a month. I'm going to get this thing down into Seattle, put it into a parking lot. And I don't know where that document went. So let's see. So I'm going to store this in Seattle. Then we are going to, put Goldie into storage. I take the train and the bus back to here, pick up the truck out of storage, drive it across the border. Sigh of relief. Pick up Goldie, head on down to Sacramento, and drop the trailer off somewhere. Probably have a very miserable time in that process. I hope I don't need a storage unit for that. Anyhow. What's next? Sorry, where was I? Sorry, intrusive thoughts are ruining my life. So we drive down in this, park it into Seattle, leave Goldie with Rover with a kennel person on the Rover. I hop a train, a bus, maybe 2 buses, who knows. Get up here, pick up the truck, drive down, pick up Goldie, drive to Sacramento, drop off the truck and the boxes, leave Goldie with somebody, fly back up to Seattle, pick up the RV, pick up the ambulance, excuse me, and drive it on down. Once again, intrusive thoughts. I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully Sacramento doggy daycare will be more familiar. Okay, I need to go hunt down storage or documentation. I have gone potty. We popped in here to do this update. Wish us well. If I get more subscribers, I might start editing some of the actual day-by-day updates, but at least at the moment I haven't had the time. So this is just the one big rambling update of everything's going great until it wasn't. So yeah, this is back to plan A. I was just going to do this trip with both vehicles with just run Goldie down and then fly back up and go run the other vehicle down, and everything was primed to do that. I don't know if I could afford it, but everything was primed to do that. We're just taking a different scenic route, take a train route that I've always been told to take. I should say that way. I'm not sure I get a train. I might be in a bus. Whatever. 2 buses make a right? Alright, so I found the registration for the ambulance, which is the storage lot wants the registration for the vehicles, and the trailer registration's in my pouch with me. I don't know what happened to the truck's registration. It's probably in the folder thingy behind me, but I have to lift the bed and start digging through it, and hopefully I find it. I should. I needed to go potty when I found the Ford's registration. Then I decided it's best to go potty, so we went potty. Now I'm gonna go lift the bed up. Oh, I also was having trouble lifting the bed up, so put the other phone on the charge because the battery sucks, and then switched over to I came up front to get this phone, and now we're going to go on that. And that as a 50-minute rant to keep you all up to date on how crappy my life is. Hope your life is better. If all goes well, I should be both vehicles in Sacramento by next weekend, possibly. I don't know. Well, on the bright side, I don't have to sleep in the truck twice, maybe. Yeah. Before I leave town, I gotta really organize my life in order to survive. Because I've been used to having this vehicle, and we're about to abandon this vehicle and sleep in the truck for a night. That's gonna suck. So we need to make sure we have at least some provisions to not be miserable. However, it's going to be hot, so oh well. Excuse me. Yep. That'll be the plan for the moment. drop the truck and the trailer off in Sacramento, fly up here, fly back to Seattle, pick up the ambulance, drive it down. That's gonna suck. Oh, that's gonna suck. Okay, well, I need to deal with some issues, and I need to go hunt those documents, and that's why I couldn't lift up the thing. It had nothing to do with my phone. It had everything to do with the switch being off. Excuse me. So, yep, I don't have anybody to drive. It's just by myself. If there's any more trouble on the road, I have to deal with it myself. See you later.